From the moment Emily Parker opened her eyes that crisp fall morning, she felt the same ache she'd carried for most of her 22 years, a quiet loneliness, the kind that made her wish she had someone who truly understood her heart. Growing up in a small town in Oregon, Emily had always been the quiet one. Her parents had divorced when she was 10, and though both loved her in their own ways, neither seemed to notice the small, tender parts of her soul that needed warmth. She worked at a cozy bookstore on Maple Avenue, tucked between a coffee shop and a florist. It wasn't glamorous, but she loved the smell of paper and ink, the sound of pages turning, and the comforting hush that filled the aisles. The bookstore felt like home, even when her apartment didn't. Her life had a steady rhythm: wake up, open the store, smile at customers, and go home to microwave dinners. She told herself she was fine with that, until one chilly afternoon in November when a woman named Linda walked in. Linda was in her 50s, her hair a gentle silver that glowed in the soft light. She bought books for her grandchildren, spoke kindly, and thanked Emily for helping her find an old classic. Before leaving, she said with a smile, "You have a very gentle spirit. My son would say that makes you rare." Emily chuckled, unsure what to say. But when Linda returned the next week, and the one after that, it felt natural to talk to her about everything from favorite novels to small-town life. Linda's warmth reminded Emily of what a mother's love might feel like if it had never fractured. Then, one evening, Linda invited her to Sunday dinner. "I make too much food when my son comes over," she said kindly. "You'd be doing me a favor." Emily almost said no, out of habit. But something inside her whispered, "Say yes." Sunday arrived with the scent of baked bread and roasted vegetables wafting through Linda's cozy home. The laughter, the way the house felt lived in, it stirred something deep in Emily. That's when she met Daniel, Linda's son. Daniel was kind, soft-spoken, and had the same calm presence as his mother. He worked as a paramedic in town, and his stories were filled with quiet heroism, helping strangers, comforting people in their hardest moments. He treated everyone as though they mattered. Over dinner, they discovered a shared love for literature. "You ever read something that made you feel less alone?" Daniel asked. Emily smiled shyly. "Every day. That's why I work at a bookstore." That night, as she walked home under a sky full of stars, she felt a warmth she hadn't felt in years. It wasn't love, at least not yet, but it was hope. Over the next few months, Emily became part of Linda's life. She'd drop by for coffee, help decorate for holidays, and read with Linda's grandchildren when they visited. Linda treated her like family, never pushing, never prying, just caring. Daniel and Emily grew closer naturally. He'd stop by the bookstore to bring her coffee on long shifts or offer her a ride when it rained. There was a steadiness to him, the kind of kindness that healed without words. Still, Emily carried the old fears, the belief that love never lasted. When Daniel asked her to join him at a charity fair one weekend, she hesitated. "I'm not good at big events," she admitted. "That's okay," he said gently. "We'll go at your pace." At the fair, surrounded by laughter and music, Daniel didn't rush her. He simply stayed by her side, showing her that safety wasn't found in solitude, it was found in someone who stayed. Months passed, and slowly, the walls around Emily's heart began to fall. One snowy evening, Daniel invited her to see the Christmas lights downtown. As they stood beneath twinkling trees, he turned to her and said softly, "You deserve every bit of love this world has to give." Tears filled her eyes. "Sometimes I feel like I missed out on love," she whispered. Daniel took her hand. "You didn't miss it, Emily. You just hadn't found your people yet." From that night on, she knew she had. A year later, Emily still worked at the bookstore, but now she wasn't going home to an empty apartment. She and Daniel had found a small house near Linda's, filled with warmth, laughter, and the smell of books. Linda often joined them for dinner, teasing Daniel about his terrible cooking while Emily tried not to laugh too hard. On quiet nights, Emily would curl up on the couch, look at the family she'd found, and whisper a quiet thank you, to life, to fate, to second chances. Because she finally understood. Love doesn't always come from where you expect. Sometimes, it finds you in a small bookstore, hidden in a kind smile, waiting for you to believe you're worthy of it. And Emily did. For the first time in her life, she truly felt loved.